3 minutes past 11, Temple had an exuberant victory over at the Liacouras Center on Sunday, beating number 23, the SMU Mustangs and Larry Brown by a score of 71-64. We don't usually go to a guest to start the top of the show, but when you beat a top 25 team, you're definitely deserving of that. And that's the head man of the Temple Owls, and that's Fran Dunphy. Coach, it's Zach Gelb and Chase Sr. here on campus. How are you?
Doing well, Zach. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming on. And I don't know if you saw these comments, but Dalton Pepper after the game called you a sidekick because after you lost to SMU down there in Texas, he came out and he said that you actually said that we were going to win the game on Sunday. So what did you see out of your team that got you guys the win and made you predict it before the game?
Well, obviously, we didn't play very well against SMU when we played down there. Although I thought at the end of the game that there was something within our team that we could win this game coming up against SMU at Liacouras, but I just think it was more a matter of what I thought our team needed to hear at that time. They didn't need me going crazy or anything like that. I think they needed a little jolt of confidence, and that's just a game that you play sometimes, and luckily it worked out. But it would have meant nothing had we not played well enough to win the game on our own, and I was very proud of our guys on Sunday.
I know we talked a little bit about this after the game, but it did have a fun atmosphere in the Liacouras Center on Sunday. Larry Brown made his return to Philadelphia. He coached the Sixers for a bunch of years and got them to the NBA Finals where they eventually lost to the Lakers. And whenever Larry Brown comes back, people think of the Sixers and Allen Iverson. And you had Coach Pitino in here a few days ago when you guys lost to Louisville. And there's a lot of good coaches in the American. Kevin Ollie's coming in on Thursday night. But when you sit there on the sidelines and you're coaching in game going up against a Hall of Famer in Larry Brown, a guy that's won an ABA, an MBA, and a collegiate championship, how special is that to go up against the great coach?
Yeah, I think it's remarkable, really. I think it's one of the great fortunes of college basketball coaching, certainly for me, to be on the same court as some of these guys who have done such wonderful work over the years. Obviously, Coach Brown has been just an unbelievable mentor and coach for all of us who are just a little bit younger than he. And just to watch him, he just loves coaching, he loves teaching, and he's a great guy to follow. And Coach Pitino's a fantastic coach as well. There's some great coaches out there, and when you get a chance to be on the same court with those guys, it absolutely is a privilege. Although I will tell you that once the game starts, that you're really just concerned with what your guys are doing and how they're adjusting to the other team and what they do, but you don't think too much about the coach on the other end. But once the game's before the game and once it's over, you're very thankful you had that great fortune.
We're spending a few minutes with head coach Fran Dunphy. Coach, it's Chase Sr. Thanks so much for joining us. The win over SMU marked the 7th straight year in which your team has taken down a top 25 team. What does that say about the program as a whole and what you've been able to establish since you came to Temple in 2006, 2007?
Well, I appreciate it, Chase. I hope that we have a terrific program, and obviously we haven't played well enough this year. We need to get better, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make this process as quick as it possibly can be, and we feel good about where we're headed, but we obviously haven't had a great season this year. The other part to that is we've had plenty of opportunity against some really highly ranked teams, and I think that's what Temple is all about. That started long before I got here and probably will last long after I leave, and that John Chaney started that, playing the top teams, the best teams you could possibly play, and we've kind of piggyback to that, and that's just what Temple is all about. Let's play the best, and you hope that that's what some of these young men who are deciding on colleges are saying, you know what, I'm going to play against the best if I go to Temple University.
Obviously, Anthony Lee being out with that knee injury was a big loss, but Mark Williams and Devontae Watson shined in his absence. Mark finished with 10 points and 7 rebounds, hit a couple of three-pointers, and Devontae was very disruptive around the rim. Devontae in his last 3 games is averaging over 8 points and 8 rebounds per game. What have you seen from them, and how pleased are you with their improvements along the way, because it has been a little bit of a challenging season for both you and the players?
Yeah, I think as far as Devontae is concerned, he's learning every game, and he's got great length to him, and he's starting to play well in traffic, so he's getting rebounds that are being fought for pretty hard. And He's able to score some baskets for us too, which certainly helps us. But I think he's growing and he's getting better. And he's getting this opportunity to play, and that he is used this year as a great learning tool for him. Mark is getting better each game, and he had 2 huge threes for us. That now the next step is to probably not take a couple of other shots that he did take. One was a kind of a runner in the lane that you just can't take, and the other was the jump shot he took late in the game that we were up 5 points and a couple of minutes to go. If he was wide open at the end of the shot clock, I think you'd take that same shot. But in this one, you just gotta know the game a little bit better, and that's what he's doing. He's trying to learn as best he can. But he's very active on the glass, and he's undersized as a 4-man, but he's giving his best effort.
You have UConn coming in on Thursday. That game is going to tip at 9 p.m. at the Liacouras Center. Anthony Lee missed the last game up against SMU, and we know that you said after the game that it was his decision not to play in it. Do we have an update on Anthony? Can we expect him to play on Thursday, or is it just too early?
Yeah, I think it's a little early, Zach, to be honest with you. He's getting treatment the last couple of days, and it will be up to him, number one, and then working with the trainer and the doctors, and then they let us know how it's all going to be, and if he can play, that'd be great. If not, then we'll do what we did the other day and give it our best shot without him. But he looks like he's getting better, and that's the hope,
Last time you played UConn, you guys had an ugly game, losing 90-66. What adjustments does this team need to make this time around as they get ready for Thursday to go up against a very impressive top 25 team in the Huskies?
Yeah, I think the first time we played, it was the first game that we had that we really just were not as prepared to go as we needed to be. I think we had been in every game previous to that, but UConn just kind of took it to us, and trying to play against a guy like Shabazz Napier is very difficult. He's very fast. He's very smart, very skilled. We needed to do a better job on him. Daniels played very, very well for them. They have good complementary players also, and they're just a really good team. We're going to have to figure out how to score some points, and then at the other end, we have to be as solid as we can be on the defensive end.
Coach Dunphy joins us on the main event. Gelb and Chase here with you. And Coach, Dalton Pepper has had a spectacular year. He's the only player that will not return to this team next season. You'll get a couple huge additions in Jalen Bond, Devin Coleman, and hopefully Jesse Morgan. All of them play different type of roles and have a different type of game. What kind of things can they bring to the table, because they all have a bundle of talent?
Yeah, they're good players, and I think they all lend something different. Like Jalen's going to be a terrific rebounder for us, and he's starting to score the ball better, and he can play multiple positions. I think all 3 of them can play multiple positions, which is always great for your team. Devin Coleman can score, Jesse Morgan can score, but and Jesse's defending it very well. He really prepares us well for the upcoming games because of his quickness and length defensively, as does Jalen. And Devin's really starting to come around, and he's been great at preparing us as well. And so we really look forward to that. But we also have Daniel Dingle, who will be healthy, and that will help us. And we also feel good about our freshman Obi. That will, obviously Obi's a senior this year, but we have freshmen next year, and Obi will lend some size and athleticism to us. So we like where we're going to be. We just need to finish this season out as strong as we possibly can, and the next opportunity we have is against a terrific Connecticut team.
Hey, Coach, I have to throw this one at you. I was reading about it over the weekend. The new commissioner of the NBA, Silver, was talking about this down in New Orleans, about the possibility of making the age limit for the NBA to be 20 years old. Would you be a fan of that? Because I'm not a big fan of the one-and-done rule right now currently in the state of college basketball.
I think I waver in a number of different ways here. I think there are certainly some kids who are absolutely ready to play professionally. Most are not right away, but I think to give them that option is not a bad thing. I do think that they need to really weigh it very carefully. There are so few guys that are ready. I think sometimes there are some kids who think they are ready and they are not, and don't know how to recover from that great blow that they're not as ready as they thought they were. So if it were mandatory for 2 years, let's say, to go to college, that would be, I probably would be in favor of that. But I don't think whatever I think is going to matter much. So I don't give it a great deal of thought. If somebody sat me down and said, your vote is going to really matter as to what these guys are doing, then I would say let's let them stay 2 years after high school. And there's a number of different ways they can do that. They don't want to go to college; they could go to Europe, although that's very difficult for a young man to do. It's not easy to just assimilate into a new culture that way. So they're not easy times for kids. But certainly the 2 years that you would spend in college would be very well spent, just from a maturation process and really appreciating what life has to offer.
Coach, your teams have been just so close to making some deep runs in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, the Indiana game last year sticks out. A few years back against San Diego State, you took the Aztecs to overtime. How close is this team to making it back to the NCAA tournament and possibly making a deep run?
Well, that will be to be determined. You know, I can't say that I'm sitting here today thinking about that. What I'm thinking about is Connecticut and how to control Shabazz Napier and DeAndre Daniels and how good they are. And then after we're finished with that, we'll put all of our thoughts into Memphis. And after we're finished with that, all of our thoughts into Louisville. These are just some phenomenal teams that we're playing and giving us an opportunity to get better each and every day. And if you can do that, then we can start thinking about where we'll be in the NCAA tournament.
Final one here with Fran Dunphy, the head coach of the Temple University Owls basketball team. They get ready to take on UConn on Thursday. And after the game, the question about adapting to the new American Athletic Conference came up to Larry Brown, and he talked about how he doesn't like what's going on in NCAA today with all the changes each and every year. And you're going to lose Louisville at the conclusion of the season. And it's been a rough year for you guys. But how has life been adapting to the American Athletic Conference? Because it looks like it has a lot of promise with a lot of good top 25 teams.
Yeah, there are some really good teams in this league, and it's going to be a great challenge for us moving forward. And we need to adapt to that, to the travel that's out there, and to other issues that we have to deal with in terms of just going to different places and being challenged by some really good programs. So I think it's been great. So it's a wonderful league and some really good teams, some great coaches, and so we're thrilled to be in it. And that's our charge, and we need to be as good as we can be. So, and the better the player, obviously, the better chance you have of moving forward and getting to where you want to go. And certainly that NCAA tournament is what we want to do. Well,
Fran, congrats on the victory. We'll see you Thursday up against UConn. We appreciate a few minutes, and thanks so much.
All right, guys. You take care. All the best.
Thank you. Fran Dunphy, head coach of the Temple Owls. We'll take a quick break here on the main event. Gelb and Chase here with you. And when we get back, it's a special edition of the Temple University Football Coaches Show with the one and only Matt Rule. He'll join us next in studio.